Unquestionably, one of the greatest authorities on the use of the blade, any blade, and in particular the knife, is Grand Tuhon Leo T. Gahe. The knife system of Pekiti Tirsia is based upon the short knife because it is a close quarter attack system based upon the thrust, not the slash. The short knife executes close quarter attacks with the thrust or the fatal thrust, then transfers into slashes, then transitions to the jab from long range. We're going to show the attack system as is comprised against the opponent. There are two grips on the knife system. You have the forward grip, which we call the saksak, and the reverse grip, or the pakal. You divide the body at the shoulders. The forward grip, or the saksak, you have the three thrusts. The one, which is the center line, coming up the center line. The two, the backhand, to the plexus, to the armpit, or to the base of the neck. And the three, the forehand horizontal, to the armpit, or to the base of the neck. 1, 2, and 3. The reverse grip, or the pakal, is downward diagonal 1 thrust, backhand downward diagonal 2 thrust, vertical 3 thrust. Vertical 3. 1, 2, and 3. Downward to the carotid, into the center line. That is your thrusting system on the close quarter knife. Then you transition into the slashes. I start my thrust, but I turn it into a slash. I start my thrust, and I turn it into a slash. As you can see, I'm slashing to the waist. I come up to my 3 thrust, and again, I slash to the waist and execute the opposite attack, and then back to the hip. Then you go into your jabs or your broken attacks. A broken attack on 1, 2, and 3. This could be multiple attacks, up to 3 attacks. Multiple attacks into the target line. Transition to the reverse grip. I come up into 1, I reverse that into the horizontal. 2, I reverse that into the horizontal. And 3, I reverse it into the vertical. This comes in, if it comes in with a block, I reverse this in and slash horizontal. Same thing here, any type of block or grab, I reverse this in, come out on the horizontal slash. Comes into the upper block, I reverse this downward, right up into the vertical slash. Same thing on the broken attacks. Broken attacks on pakal. Broken 1, transition. Broken 2, transition. Broken 3. Multiple attacks on the thrust line. Once you execute the forward grip and the reverse grip attacks, then you flip the attack method. If I'm thrusting on saksak, I can now slash on the pakal. 1, 2, and 3. Vertical, horizontal, horizontal, diagonal, diagonal, vertical. Transition into the pakal, thrust diagonal, thrust diagonal, thrust vertical, slash upward diagonal on the center line, reverse horizontal, reverse horizontal. So you simply transpose the attacks. You're thrusting on the high line with the pakal, and you're slashing below the shoulders. You're thrusting below the shoulders with the saksak, and you're slashing above the shoulders on the high line on the pakal thrust angles. This is the knife attack system, Pekiti Tirsia. There are only 2 methods of gripping the knife, the short knife. The forward grip, what we call the saksak, and the reverse grip. In the reverse grip, we want the edge inside, so that when we get into a close quarter trapping position, the opponent's weapon arm has already been cut. Into the saksak position, the thumb is basically on the spine, and the forefinger is loose and relaxed and extended. When you go into a thrust, it will close up. The thumb and the forefinger also have other type of secondary manipulations. If we come in close for jabbing and we come back into a close quarter position, the thumb will extend into the plexus so that you can keep the hand and the knife manipulating in close quarter into the plexus, or slashing into the number 1 chamber. If you don't have this manipulation, you could clip your jacket, you could clip your pocket and other type of gear, if you happen to be wearing anything on your belt. On the chamber position, on the forward grip, the left hand, the thumb extends into the number one thrust. Jabbing the thumb opens up to tap the plexus so you don't come back and obviously tap your clothing or tap your body. On the reverse grip, again, the edge is on the inside. The thumb is on the top for power reinforcement, and again, the forefinger is relaxed. These three fingers here, the bottom three fingers, are your gripping fingers. If you use the hammer grip in either forward or reverse grip, saksak or pakal, you're going to have too much energy in the knife, and it's going to be slow. Your gripping fingers are all that you need. On the reverse grip, the thumb reinforces the top of the knife, and you are making sure that you've got the blade edge orientation for your jabbing and for your thrusting. When you execute the center line jab, again, the thumb can come out so that you can tap your plexus in close quarter and manipulate the blade. Same thing for the close quarter chambers of the reverse grip. Here, I can execute that tap to my shoulder, to my traps, with my thumb in the reverse grip thrust. So it's very important to learn these manipulations, and when you execute the forms that we showed you before, the chambering positions, you have this manipulation down appropriately. From the number one chamber position on the saksak, you come out, the thumb goes back on the top of the blade, into the spine of the blade, and finish your number one thrust. Same thing on the reverse grip here. You execute the thrust, that forefinger will close, and then it will open up during the bridging attacks or bridging manipulation with the close quarter knife. The saksak thrust, or the forward grip thrust, begin in your bladed position. Tap your left hand, number one. Right hip to the left shoulder. Transition 2, horizontal thrust, flip it, 3, horizontal thrust, slash back down on the diagonal to the starting position. Tap the left hand, thrust upward, number 1. Transition, thrust 2 across the horizontal line, transition 3 across the horizontal line, back down, counter slashing to the hip. When you come from the hip, the thumb must be open. Thrust forward, transition, attack, thrusting across the horizontal line. Transition, forehand high line attack across the horizontal line, ending up in the chamber position, tapping your bicep, the back of your thumb is at the base of your shoulder, slash back down. If you follow these mechanics, you can deliver full power thrust with the live blade. Tapping thrust, 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 and then slash back down. The thrust system on saksak. The slashing attacks begin with the thrust. I thrust on number 1 to the center line, turn the weapon now into a slash, ending up in the number 2 thrust position. I thrust on number 2, slash to the waist, and deliver the number 3 thrust. I begin the number 3 thrust, slash to the waist, and execute the number 2 thrust, and then back down to the hip to the starting position. Tap the eyes, thrust, slash, thrust, slash back to the 2, and back to the hip position, so that you've got fluid transitions from one thrust to the other, transitioning with a slash. The jabs, or the broken attacks, come off of the principal fluid thrust attacks. A broken number 1, a broken number 2, and a broken number 3 attack. These can be single, 1, 2, and 3, or multiple, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, on the 1, 2, and 3 line attacks. Up to 3 attacks. 1, 2, finish it up with a fluid attack. 1, 2, finish it with a fluid. 1, 2, finish it with a fluid thrust. These are fakes. These are thrusts that open up the opponent's manipulation, open up their attempt at counteroffense, and then you deliver that final thrust. Back to your bladed position for the pakal thrust. Downward diagonal 1, downward diagonal 2, vertical 3, fluid thrust. Tapping the eyes, 1, 2, tap, 3. Tap 1, 2, tap, and 3. When you execute the 3, the fluid 3 attack should be roughly 1 fist from your hip. Fluid 3, come back to the downward diagonal, tap, and vertical. 1, 2, and 3. Tap 1, 2, and 3. The same as in the suck method, the slashes on the pakal or reverse grip come off of the thrust. Deliver the number 1 thrust, reverse it in, slash horizontal. Deliver the 2 thrust, reverse it in, slash horizontal. Deliver the 3 thrust, bring it in, slash on the vertical. 1, reverse it, slash. 2, reverse it, slash. 3, bring it in, and vertical slash. This is against attempts of blocks and grabs. Attack with the thrust, reverse it, execute the horizontal slash. Downward 2 diagonal, reverse it in, slash 3, bring it in, elbow to your ribs, reverse up and slash. The broken attacks or jabs, again, off of the fluid thrust line. Broken 1, broken 2, broken 3. You can execute 2 attacks, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. You can use the second attack to transition. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then back to the forehand. Broken attack on a number 1, execute the fluid. Broken attack on number 2, execute the fluid. Broken attack on number 3. In the same manner as the sock, 1, 2, fluid attack. 1, 2, fluid attack. 1, 2, fluid attack, and you're back to the number 1 thrust position. Center line jabbing with the knife is executed again with sock and with the pakal grips. Back to the sock, you're in a bladed position and you must execute proper manipulation of the knife and the left hand as they, what we call rolling of the hands and then executing the knife jab. You begin in the bladed position, your hand, the weapon hand, rotates on 0 degrees directly on line with your opponent. You're rotating your hand, the left hand counter-rotates with the weapon hand in this manner on a 45-degree lines. Weapon hand on 0, the third hand on the 45-degree line. Here, you're in a bladed footwork and a bladed body position. When you execute the jab to the hand, which will be roughly in a horizontal line, you flick the jab out utilizing the flat of the blade right to the target. When you execute the jab, the left hand protects the armpit. So when you're here and you execute the jab, the left hand comes in and taps the inside of the armpit. Turn sideways a little bit here and execute the low line jab, which primarily is to the opponent's weapon hand. Back into the rolling position, and I jab to the bridge of the eyes. Now I'm in a 45-degree line as I execute the flicking jab of the sock knife position, landing the tip into the bridge of the eyes. Rolling the hands here, and turning my body so that I get maximum range in a bladed position here. You're here rolling the hands in your bladed footwork position here, and then executing the jab to the attack of the eyes or the horizontal into the hand, the diagonal into the bridge of the eyes. The center line attack or center line jabbing attack with the reverse grip of the pakal is the same. I'm here in a bladed footwork position, bladed body position. My weapon is rotating on 0 degrees right at my opponent, my left hand on a 45-degree line. Rotating the hands here. Using my broken footwork here, and I execute the horizontal attack, thrusting jabbing attack straight into the weapon hand. Here, and I thrust. Here, and I jab. Third hand is tapping the underside of the armpit, and the withdrawal is faster than the delivery. That is the overriding mechanic and attribute of the jabbing attacks. I come in and jab and quickly recover back into a multiple jabbing position, or transition to another type of attack. I'm here, bladed here, into the weapon hand, or long range, into the bridge of the eyes of the opponent. When I execute that jab, my forearm must be on a 45-degree line. If I drop it down to horizontal, my head is unprotected, and I may be hit with my opponent's counter jab. So as you're rolling here, rolling your hands here, waving your body in and out to the hand or to the eyes, executing the center line jab with the reverse grip. Once you master the mechanics of the knife jab, go back out to the pakal and do your distance sparring, where you start to set your timing and your distance with range with your opponent. So now we're working strikes to the hand. Horizontal jabs. Granny comes in, I'm out. Quick. Boom. And there. Now we start to execute jabs to the high line, to the bridge of the eyes. Still maintaining distance, but getting real timing. Start with the circling. Yeah. Both of us using high and low, jabbing to the hands, following up with jabs to the bridge. Now with the gear, we can start to execute some real attacks. Horizontal jabbing to the hand, and then we'll come up later to the eyes and execute the different tactics of long range, counter jabbing, and close quarter tapping. So first, we're going to start on circling here, and just start throwing the jab. Boom, 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 moving in, moving out. Here, bang, bang. That's it. In and out. Thing you've got to consider with the pakal when you're on both double pakal is that if you come in on line, you probably tag each other. Both people will execute the thrust. So when you're executing this, you have to get off line to the outside so you can tap the forearm without getting your weapon hand hit as well. So again, we start to move around. And faking here. That's it. Here. Moving in, back, back. Here, back, back. And there. Then we're going to start and target the high line or to the eyes. Back to distance sparring here. That's it. Here, back. As you see there, when I came in, Randy ranged out and tags the hand. I'm going to come straight line with the attack. Randy ranges out and tags that hand. The next phase in the knife system is the close quarter counter-offense, or what we call tapping drills. The system is simple. It's based upon the thrust system, the system of attacks. If I'm attacking on the forward grip or the suck-suck, the attacks are countered by the attacks of the pakal. If I attack on a number 1 thrust, he counters with his number 1 thrust. If I attack on a number 2, the counter is an attack on the pakal number 2. If I attack on my number 3, the counter offense is the vertical thrust on number 3 and then back out to execute the drill. So the tapping drill or the counter offense drill is a series of 1, 2, and 3 attacks on the forward grip, countered by 1, 2, and 3 attacks on the reverse grip. We'll do it in the flow and then we'll start to break it down. So I attack on 1 here. Again, a realistic attack. As I come back in here, when I execute a number 1 attack, and you've got to understand that the knife is for already close range, extreme close quarter. So I should be at contact distance to my opponent. I shouldn't be out here. If I'm here, I can execute some other type of attack. So in order to execute the drills properly, contact distance. I execute a real attack on number 1. Dennis sidesteps 90 degrees properly, and he's got the proper tap. The tap is executed middle of the forearm to middle of the forearm. The purpose of this is to stun and to attack the weapon-wielding hand, the weapon-wielding forearm. I come in number 1, he executes 90-degree sidestep and counters with a number 1 thrust. I execute the number 2, he executes a left 45, getting outside the line of attack of the number 2 thrust, and executes a number 2 on the reverse grip with the elbow control. Realistically, the fight would end here. After he gets this trap, he's going to bring it in close quarter and go for the direct thrust right to the weapon-wielding hand. That would be gone, and then he would go to a finishing type of attack, either a running attack or multiple attacks at close quarter. So again, we start off on 1, 2, left 45, counters with the 2. To continue this drill, he rotates the left hand to the palm up tap. He taps this down and comes across into the number 3, stepping to the inside of the line of attack. And if I wasn't to have any footwork or to range out, that thrust and tap would go right into the thigh. Because I have some awareness of this and I can manipulate my knife and feet as he comes in for the tap, I go for the slash as I step out. So let's go through this drill again. 1, 2, 3. He taps that here and out. As the 3 comes down, as I enter the 3 thrust and he steps in with the number 3 vertical, as this comes down, before it reaches the center line, I'm trying to slash the forearm. That's why Dennis comes back up into the high position. On the number 3 tap, I could slash to the eyes if I wanted to as well. Another reason why he gets out and protects the eyes, protects the high line, and protects the head. Back again, I execute 1, 2, tap it down, 3, and back out. That is the basic mechanics of the pakal versus the sak-sak drill, or how you counter the close quarter attacks on the forward grip, 1, 2, and 3. Now, just because he's in the pakal grip doesn't mean that it's not applicable in the reverse grip. The same mechanics, go to switch it to the forward grip. I'm going to execute the same drill. 1, 2, now he has obviously the same tap with the forearm. Tap it around, 3 here, and back down. The reason we begin with the pakal is because, go back to the pakal grip, when you execute close quarter counter offense, you want the power of that thrust, the power of the reverse grip thrust. 1, getting out. 2, thrusting. You want to thrust that knife and tap it away from you, obviously. Before the 2 gets up here, I switch to 3. He enters in with the 3 and delivers the close quarter tap, which would be directly into the thigh, directly into the hip. From there, he does multiple attacks to the weapon hand until that weapon drops, and then follow-up close quarter attacks, or does a running attack. Let's look at it again. 1, 2, trap, transition, 3, and back down. This is the close quarter tapping drill, sak-sak, countered by pakal. Okay, let's take a look at an advanced application of the first pakal versus sak-sak attack. I could continue 1 to the number 2, tapping into the 3, back out, and into another bridging attack. Or I can use my broken attack from the attack system on a number 1, and then come into a number 3. As you can see, Dennis is now going to execute left 45, bridging close quarter footwork. I come out on my broken attack, and there is the left 45 here. You can see the range. I did not get my number 3 thrust extended because he quartered and entered inside the line of attack. He would tap that in close quarter, trap it, execute the multiple thrusts in close quarter. 1, into the 3, back down, trap it. Or you can execute the center line footwork as well. I come in broken here, and again, he steps inside the line of attack, shoulder into the center line, and goes fluid all the way down, executing the close quarter trap and thrust. Now you can combine these drills. 1, 2, tap it into the 3, or 1 into the 3 direct. And he gets the direct trap with the attack in close quarter. This is the advanced application of the first tapping drill, pakal countering the sak-sak thrust. The second drill in the tapping system is countering the pakal thrust. Diagonal 1, diagonal 2, and the vertical 3. The first drill begins with the number 1 attack. As Randy comes in with the number 1 attack, I have to step on my left 45 and attack with my left hand. This is my number 2 third hand or hand blade attack against the number 1. Now I'm going to take a slight step out on 90 degrees to clear my head from the thrust and execute a number 2 counter offense and end up in the sidestep trapping position. We reverse it. I attack with the 1, Randy steps in, counters, comes across, and back into the trap. And we start to move with the drill. Right there. As I step in with Randy's power, if I didn't step in and attack that number 1, I would have met that here, and that thrust just would have continued on with the direct attack right into the thrust. So at close quarter, at contact distance, when that 1 comes out, you have to step forward and attack that weapon hand right here. If you come up on horizontal, you're going to lose your leverage, and that 1 is going to follow right on through. I have to come in with my diagonal attack as well, step out on the 90, counter directly with the 2 into the close quarter trapping position. Back into the 1, and we're attacking. So we're both working dynamic attacks and counterattacks here and there. I get my left 45, I get my 90 into the sidestep trapping position. Back in again. And into the final trap. Okay, let's advance the drill now. Now we're going to add the number 2 attack, the backhand diagonal thrust. Start back up on the regular first drill, number 1 attacks. As I execute my 2 counter with the weapon hand, I'm going to tap or dakup Randy's weapon hand. He sidesteps and comes back into the trapping position. Back to 1. I attack here with the 2, sidesteps and retraps. So as Randy comes up, I enter. As I go to transition to the 2, I'm going to dakup. Immediately Randy steps out on 90, comes back with the number 2, traps at close quarter. Back to the drill again. So we do a couple repetitions of the number 1, back and forth, back to the number 1, and then here, tap, and retrap into the close quarter tapping and trapping position. Okay, now let's add the number 3 thrust, or the vertical thrust. Back to the basic attack on 1, back to the basic drill, around. Once I attack into my 1, counter, vertical, sidestep. There's the same trap, same quartering position. Back to the basic drill, attack and countering attack on the 1, countering attack on the 2, here to the vertical, out. Sidestep position, quartering, and the trap of the number 3 attack. Now let's look at the follow-up attack once you execute the proper trap. Start back up in the number 1 attacks here, back into the basic tapping drill. Here, we're moving around. Now, instead of executing the direct 1, as soon as Randy releases the trap, he's going to go for my hand. I have to bring my hand into the chamber, my weapon hand into the chamber, to protect myself against that attack. He'll miss, so he follows up with the number 1 diagonal attack again. I transfer out. I go for the hand hit and for the high hit. Come back around, hit to the hand, and the number 1. Back around, and hit to the hand, number 1. Hit, hit. Thrust. Thrust, thrust. Thrust, thrust. And there. If I didn't remove my hand, that would be a direct hit right to the weapon hand. The weapon would be gone, and then a follow-up close quarter thrust with the number 1 attack. Now let's take a look what happens when your opponent can counter your first entry. Randy comes in with the number 1, but he goes broken. Now I have to follow up directly with my number 2 pakal. Again, Randy comes in, broken attack. I got to get out on 90 and come to the direct trap. 1 across, and again, I come in for my entry broken, and I get out into the trap here. Back again, 1. As soon as I enter, Randy displaces the weapon so that I cannot get the trap, and now comes in with another number 1. I have to get out on 90 degrees and rotate into my sidestep trapping position. Back into the drill. Broken one, back into the two. Cross over, here, attack, broken one, into the two. Right from here, the same direct hit to the hand and direct close quarter attack. Okay, let's take a look now at the combination of the tapping of the sock thrust and the pakal thrust. Since I'm using the sock thrust and going to attack on the pakal lines, I'll be using thrusts on the low line, slashes on the high line, combining the two tapping drills or counter fence drill. You know, 1, 2, tap that 3, here, 1, ground, here, there, tap back into the tapping here and down. This is how you combine the close quarter tapping drills of the pakal countering the sock and the pakal countering the pakal thrust, which turn into the sock slash if I happen to be utilizing that grip. Back and forth. Dynamic real attacks, real counter attacks, and finishing and closing. The most important thing to remember on the tapping system is that tapping is not knife fighting. If you find yourself here having to enter and counter the number 1 attack, you didn't attack your opponent ahead of time and first. In other words, you technically messed up. You allowed your opponent to enter into close quarter, and now you must counter their direct attacks with counter offense. So while all of these drills have excellent skills and they build good close quarter skills, technically you don't want to be here. If the number 1 comes, I want to be out, executing possibly a counter jab attack, or attacking my opponent before he's able to get into a close quarter attack position. The reasoning behind this is that we start close quarter. We give you the ability to protect yourself at close quarters against a fatal thrust. Then we range the system out and teach you how to bridge from long range into close quarter. We've covered the attack system at close quarter, the close quarter counter offense system, how you protect yourself against those close quarter thrusts. Now we come to the bridging attack system. How do you bridge from long range into close quarter? The first method is with the jab, with the center line or the combat jab. From here, the targets are the weapon hand and or the eyes of the opponent. So you're here at distance and you're going to be executing multiple attacks to the weapon hand and or the bridge of the eyes. Now we'll show you the jabbing drills or the offensive attacks with the knife jab. First thing, we're going to start circling as we're rolling the knife hand. Then I can come directly into the hand hit. Horizontal jab. I execute my broken footwork right into the knife hand. As you develop more skill and better footwork, you can range out and protect your hand, counterattacking my hand with the jab as well. I come in and extend, but my hand gets hit instead of my opponent's. As we start to circle here, I can also go to the eyes. Now he counters close quarter with the tap of the forearm and then back in. We're here, we're circling here, and attacking into the eyes. Once you develop your mechanics of the center line jab, we'll start with the sock. Now you can put it into a combat drill. The first thing is you want to start to circle as you're rotating your hand. Here you're circling to the left. From here, attack to the weapon hand. You're here, attack directly into the weapon hand of your opponent. Right from here, bang! I take the hand. Circle around here. I can also go for the head, go for the eyes. So from here, right in to the eyes. And I use my long range jabbing long-range extension of the body. Dennis will counter me with either stepping out long range and hitting my hand, or coming in close with the tap, countering my direct jabbing attack to his eyes. So we'll start to move around here. I may throw attack to the hand here, then I come in high. There's the tap. He tried for the elbow grab. He could bring this down to the trapping position, execute a thrust, close quarter, multiple attacks. Or we're here moving around, throwing the jab, and he'll range and counter jab my attack to the eyes with a jab as well. Once you get your mechanics on the jabbing and you develop the control with your initial range or distance sparring, then you're ready to put the gloves on and go for some real attacks. So same thing, we start to circle and then go into direct attacks against that weapon hand. Here we're back to circling. I can fade. Here I can take the hand, or I can come back high into the head. Dennis now will start to counter as well. If I come into the hand, he'll counter tap my jabbing attack. Here, I may take that here, and he gets out, ranges out, and attacks the hand. Same thing, utilizing the same tactic. Jab, center line jab, countered with the knife jab. There he countered my high line with weapon hand attack. The same drills with the Pakal knife jabbing. Start off circling, we're moving here and throwing the jab. Into the hand. Boom, boom, follow up. There's a hand hit right into the hand, backhand. I got off slightly at an angle because if the Pakal both comes out, you can end up tapping each other with the extension of the point of the blade. So from here, you have to get out a little bit slightly, so then you're going to hit by your opponent's Pakal knife. Back to the drill. Back up high. There it is. I get the trap, I get the direct thrust here, and there. Steven came in, we kept on circling, he came in high, I got the tap, went into the trap, and there's a direct thrust to the hand. The next type of bridging attack we're going to execute is the slashing attack. So we start from long range into close quarter with first the jabbing. Why? Because it's the fastest attack. Right into the center line with the jab, to the weapon hand, to the eyes. Now, into the slashing attack. You can counter the slashing attack with the slashing attack as well, and or with the jabbing. This system, attack system, follows the same line as the diagonal or 5 attacks of the long blade. However, you go 1, 2, 3, and come back in on the 2 slash. We don't utilize the 4 slash because with the absence of the length of the blade, all you're doing is leading with the arm. So you hear 1, 2, 3, and back to 2. 1, 2, 3, and back to 2. Slash, 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 and back to 2. Slash, 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 and back to 2. Slashing the hand on 1, slashing the hand on 2, slashing the hand on 3. This second 2 could be a direct slash to the hand, weapon hand, or it could be a close quarter tap. I could get out on the 3 and come in with the close quarter tap, bridging in on my opponent. Now we start the distance sparring on the slashing attacks. Range on 1, 2, 3, back to 2. Moving and circling. 3, boom. I enter in with the close quarter tap. I may get the eyes with the slash here, multiple thrust, and quartering on the running attack. And again, slashing, cut the weapon hand, deliver the multiple thrusts at close quarter. Back to the training gear so we can get some realistic attacks to the hand and the tapping. Once you isolate the jabbing attacks and the slashing attacks, then you put that all together. Jabbing from long range, slashing and bridging into close quarter, tapping in close quarter, ending up with the fatal thrust. Good close up in a close quarter two. Dennis came up and tapped that. He brought it in with the thrust, slashed the weapon hand, finished it out with the fatal thrust with the number 3. Advanced tactics and techniques that you're going to see in later instructional videos is close quarter tapping and counter trapping. So if we're back to the Second Leveau drill, we're coming in and executing close quarter tapping and trapping here. As Stephen comes over, crosses with the trap, my left hand snakes in, shoots in from my center line, and executes the trap on top of his weapon holding hand. Now he can no longer directly go to the hand, hit the hand with the thrust, and follow up with close quarter attacks. As the 2 is coming around, my left hand shoots in and taps the weapon hand, locks it, and counter controls it. Now we're into a close quarter grappling situation. A lot of things can happen based upon just a few counters though. Stephen can roll over the top and lock my left hand or my third hand. As he's doing that, I'm going to step out and re-trap to the outside. Back in. Again, comes back around. I trap over the top. As he's rotating around to trap my left hand, my third hand, come back around, I step out. I release my left hand and then re-trap. Back in again. Back into here. He steps over. I re-step on my side step and re-trap. Back to the drill. As Stephen gets that lock, I could go over the top as in before, or I could immediately shift out left 45 and drive my Pakal knife right into the thigh. Remember what we talked about in the tapping system. In reality, no one will ever tap your weapon hand. As Grand Tuan says, no one will remove the knife from your hand. That means there will be no tapping. That means all you're going to see is direct attacks to the weapon-wielding hand of your opponent. So what you get in later on is fake attacks and also feinting attacks. With a fake attack, I could come in 1-2 here and then step in and pop the jab quickly. I fake like I'm coming into the 2, but I sidestep and come in and jab to the inside, ready to follow up to the weapon-wielding hand.